Well, what is going on, Philadelphia? You in a good mood? I sure am after a belt-to-ass whipping of the Cincinnati Bengals. And look, I'm going to listen, I'm going to open up the show exactly like this. I'm going to paint you two different scenarios, all right? Two different scenarios, both of which end in the same exact way. Scenario number one, and honestly, the least likely of the two scenarios, bullying works. Bullying works. Everything that we've been talking about as Eagles fans and in the media, picking on this team, they feel like they're against us. It's us versus them. All of a sudden, all this bullying works. Play action. We've been begging for play action this entire season. Jalen was 6 for 7, 142 yards, and a touchdown in play action. We've been dogging them and bullying them into passing into the middle of the field. Jalen was once again 6 for 6, 102 yards, and a touchdown. We've been bullying them into playing under center. 21 plays under center. We've been talking about the defensive line, getting quarterback pressure. Where's all the pressure? They had 6 sacks in the first 4 games, 14 in the last 3. Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, all of a sudden becoming factors in the game. We talked about the defensive backs and the linebackers playing up against the line, tackling, blitzing. Listen, I write out all the stats every single game, every single show. And half the time, the defensive stats I'd have to throw out. Listen to this. 7th in points per game, 7th in yards per game, 8th against the run, 10th against the pass. And oh my God, 7th in the NFL in sacks per game. We've been talking about the turnovers. No turnovers. Bullying them about the turnovers. No turnovers in the last 3 games. No foolish plays and 2 major takeaways to seal the deal against the Cincinnati Bengals. Bravo, Eagles fans. Just like a proud dad that's trying to get the best out of your kid. Yeah, you're a little hard on him, but you're trying to push him into being the best he can be. Eagles fans, Eagles media, we did it. We did it.
Pull it up. We told him. Second thing, told him.
Now, the second scenario, which is by far more likely the right scenario, right? The correct scenario, is that maybe there was something to this preseason thing where the first 4 weeks, you're just trying to get the feel of everything and you're trying to establish an identity. And then the bye week came and then they rattled off 3 wins. Maybe it's about the coordinators getting used to the players and the tools that they have.
Run the ball, man.
Run the ball, Nick. And more importantly, the players getting used to the scheme. Either way, option A or option B, right now that was the most dominating team effort that I've seen out of this Philadelphia Eagles team since they went to the Super Bowl in 2002, and they're getting hot at the right time.
You said 2002?
Say it again for me, Black Ready. Say it again for me. The Washington Commanders are 6-2. We would have been at the head of the division had it not been for number 39, taunting the fans and then tipping it to the receiver in the end zone. Thanks for that one, Chicago. Your Philadelphia Eagles are 5-2, red hot. The Dallas Cowboys. And listen, if anything over the last 2 years has taught me, it's, hey, don't look past your current opponent. But Dallas
sucks.
Dallas
sucks.
Dallas.
Sucks.
Oh, yeah. I got my eye on you. I'm looking forward to that one. And the New York Dumpster Juice, Dumpster Fires are what is this, 2-6? Yeah, they don't matter anymore. All that and more on this episode of the Cheat Seats. But first, I'll pass it off to my man, Jason Ashworth. Jason, how are you feeling after a big Eagles win?
Yo, you guys have me completely confused. I'm filming the whole damn thing. I got to turn this thing off because you guys have me shook. First of all, I walk into the studio. Yeah. Right? No one's in here. I'm looking for people. I can't find anybody. Gritty's on the couch taking a nap. Right? So I let him sleep. I come in here, and now he's over here, alter ego. It's like he was refreshed, recharged, re-energized from the nap. Now he's hiding behind you, giggling, screaming out nonsense. I like when we win. I like when we win football games because you guys are all of a sudden a hell of a lot of fun to be around. Gritty's in a good mood. We're having a good time. You go off on a rant, spot on with everything you say. I like winning football games in the city. It's a good time, isn't it? What do you think?
Well, I mean,
Oh, now he's bringing it down.
This guy.
Now he's going to bring it down.
Where's my 2 interceptions and 14 points in the first quarter? I was promised.
Oh,
Where's my 14 points?
That wasn't me. That's your. Oh, here we go.
Jalen Hurts.
Get on it.
Had a perfect game. Perfect. 4 missed passes. I don't care nothing about that. You know why? Penalties called back like 18 touchdowns. Okay? The Eagles are the best team in the NFL. And everybody's afraid of us right now. And it doesn't matter what you say or what you think about Jalen Hurts not being the guy. You know why?
You got bounce.
That's why. Because we got that bounce. I think we got our swagger back. You said it last week. He said last week, I didn't believe him. But now, look. He got the velour suit on. Life is good.
Y'all are absolutely wild, and I love it.
It's just funny.
And how about this? Look at the little tracksuit my man's coming out in, too. Straight velour. Don't bury it. All right. My fault.
It's just, he had a perfect game. And when I was telling you guys, like, wait till after the bye week for no turnovers, it's because of everything you see that happens. The preseason excuse, which is a real thing. You look around the league. The bye week, coming back off the bye week, I expected them to be more crisp than they were that first game, but I expected the turnovers to stop after the bye week because Jalen got the reset, log in. He didn't go on vacation. He didn't go to Bahamas. He didn't go hang out with his new fiance. He stayed in the building and worked on his bye week off. And you see that work being executed on the field. And this is why he's the guy. Because in Philadelphia, people are crazy, they're insane, and they complain about every single thing. And what does he do? Well, standard is the standard. Keep the main thing the main thing. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. So then when he comes out here and he gives you that garbage talk again, and you're balling out of control, you're like, well, that's great. He could have been throwing people under the bus week after week. I didn't have my wide receivers. I didn't have this. I didn't have my linemen. I have a new OC. He's calling the plays. But he literally was like, Jalen, watch over the middle. You don't see me under the middle? You don't see me under the center? The plays haven't come that way. They're not developing that way. What would you like me to do if they're not developing? Now when you go under center and you have 3 major passes in a row, maybe Goddard doesn't flash open like the backup tight end is doing right now. Maybe when you have different linemen in and you say, I have to focus on the run because Jalen won't have enough time, it opens up the passing game. Jalen Hurts doesn't need to throw more than 25 passes a game to be the elite quarterback in the league. And I don't have the actual stats, so I'm not a nerd and I don't care. But if you're home and you tell me that he's not the guy, I want to know who is the guy. Because in the league right now, starting quarterbacks that have gone to a Super Bowl, you can fit them like on the palm of your hand. And Jalen's one of those guys. And when you go to who's won a Super Bowl, was it Russell Wilson and Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes.
And Flacco, who just got another starting job again.
Aaron Rodgers is still starting.
Oh, yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Don't forget that guy.
So you got 4 in the entire league. So when you tell me he's not the guy, just remember, Drew Brees only has 1 chip. There's a lot of guys that can go down the list that you thought were the guys that spent 20 years in the league and only got 1. We've got a guy who's already been there this early in his career. And when you see him play like this, shut your mouth and enjoy the fact that we have a number 1 quarterback in Philadelphia.
Yeah, he's a number 1. I mean, we're overreacting, and that's what we do in Philadelphia, and that's okay, right? A lot of fan bases do that.
We're not going to the Super Bowl?
I mean, look, he played a good game. He played. You said it right.
Yes,
he played the best for me, and I said this. I think it's the best game that he's played since the Super Bowl in 2022. The most complete game on both sides, with his legs, with his arm. His decision making. I just thought he played really well. We talked about the turnovers. We say it every week. This is now his 4th straight game without an interception. 3rd straight dub, right? We'll take that. It's 122 straight passes. I guess I'm a nerd because I'm going to throw out some stats for you. 122 straight passes, which isn't, world beater, but 122 straight attempts without an interception. And that's what we're looking for from our quarterback. I don't know. I mean, you let off the show. I don't know. Is it because we just viewed these first few games as preseason games and they had to find their rhythm? Did we bully them into some things? I don't know, but there's obviously some changes that were made. Yeah. You look at, I'm not going to discredit the idea that they're leading the NFL in terms of percentage of runs, right? They're running the ball 55% of the time. That's good. When you have Saquon Barkley, when you have this offensive line, you probably should be doing that. We're seeing them under center a hell of a lot more. Ran under center 35% of the time against Cincinnati, which is exactly what we said they should do. So maybe, are we bullying them into doing it? I'd hope not. I'd hope the coaches really aren't listening to the fan base that much.
They are.
No, they listen. I'm not saying they don't listen. But as I always say, the quickest way to becoming a fan is by listening to them.
By listening to the fans.
But the bottom line is they're playing good, sound, fundamental football, not just on offense now.
No.
I mean, against Cincinnati, they only had 2 missed tackles, and we know from weeks that number, because we were bitching about it on this show, they can't tackle. And we were making jokes on social media about them tackling donuts. Like, they're practicing by tackling donuts. But the numbers speak for themselves. Those missed tackles have dropped. I think it was like 5 3 weeks ago, 4 last week, 2 this week. So all things considered, both offensively and defensively, they're trending in the right direction. And I think for that and that alone, you've got to be excited about it.
It was by far the most complete team win. And there wasn't one superstar out there that put the team on his back or that carried the team. No, it was a complete win. And then rewatching the game, like after the game, we're all giddy, look at the score, they're like, man, we really thumped them. That game was tight until like 5 minutes left in the third quarter. And then they just iced it. Smitty TD. All of a sudden the defense comes out, turnover downs. You just mentioned sure tackling. Cooper DeJean. Oh my God, the way he tracked that receiver and tracked that ball and made that play on 4th down. It was it wasn't the play of the game because there was no plays of the game. There was multiple people making multiple plays. Smitty TD, turnover on downs, field goal, interception, right? That's what I was calling for last week. We needed a pick. Teammates helping each other out, batting the ball down, another touchdown, a fumble, iced the game, offensively and defensively. Like, I know they got off to a slow start defensively, but if you go back and watch that 10-minute long drive, man, we're sitting there and we're all thinking to ourselves, here comes the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game all over again. The difference was on 1st and 2nd down, they were playing a lot of great defense. There was a lot of they just couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. I'm not going to murder them for not getting points in the first quarter because they got the ball left with like 5 minutes. And they did score, albeit only 3 points. They did score on their opening drive. But if you take a look at the entire game, not just the stars, not just Jalen Hurts going deep, his most amount of air yards that he's had in his career in a long bomb completion to Smitty, which was a beautiful ball, but a tough catch by Smitty. It's the backups. Calcaterra. The only reason I knew Calcaterra's game is because he would blow a block like once a game when Dallas Goedert was starting, and you go, there's Cal blowing a block. How does this guy keep getting wide open? How does he keep getting wide open? Fred Johnson playing an amazing game, giving Jalen a clean pocket so he can set those feet and have his mechanics on point. Like top to bottom, just a complete win. Hung in there for a long time, but then when it mattered the most, slamming this to the seat, there I am. Iced it.
So they didn't have the ball until 10 minutes and 18 seconds in the first quarter.
Wow.
So you can't kill them. You have a minute and 48 seconds in the first quarter to run some plays. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, I know it's 1st down, but just kick a field goal right here. Like, just give me 3 points right now. And I really could care less. I could give a shit, kick a field goal, and let it be done. Because you already saw what was going to happen. Like, they're going to go another one. And you feel like, man, this could get out of hand really quick because they did come out firing all cylinders. So I'll tell you this. The Eagles suck. They're trash pandas, and you can't believe in them. You can't believe in Jalen Hurts. You can't believe in the defense. No, I'm talking about the Eagles.
Okay,
the Eagles are just a horrible team. Because my favorite thing is when Jalen Hurts has a bad game and he doesn't have his wide receivers, he has to rise above. Joe Burrow had one wide receiver out and the rest of the team, and he was working the pass around the ball game, but when he loses, it's, well, what do you expect him to do? How can he win without Higgins? Like, wait, what? That's not how it works for me. But when they beat a good team, it doesn't. The math isn't mathing. I know we beat bad teams, but guess what? The Browns this weekend went out there and beat the Ravens. And you'll say to me, well, and they had a different quarterback. And that's their problem. Mm-hmm. That quarterback was on the roster. Everyone in that building knew that another quarterback was better than them, and they put another person out there in front of him. So you get people when you get them. You play what the schedule is. And right now, you want to talk about stats and numbers. For the first time in 70 years, the Eagles haven't blown out teams back-to-back at that high of a clip. They won 10 here and 10 there, but to beat a team by 21 and 20 hasn't happened before. So give them the credit they deserve. You play who's on the schedule. I don't care how bad the people look, because guess what? the other team's going to look bad too. You know why? Because they're going to keep losing to the Eagles. So when your team is 3-3 and now they're 3-4, and you tell me everybody they beats below 500, thank you, because they had to play us along the way that helped them get below 500.
Yeah, you're right. There's merit to that. I also try to I try to be logical a little bit. And I went in this game, I told you, I was about to put a 30 spot on the Birds, and I had them winning 27-17. Now it turns out it was 37-17. But I didn't view the Bengals as a good football team. And I didn't view the Giants as a good football team. And I didn't view the Browns as a good football team. So I know that they had Joe Burrow. And I'm not poo-pooing this W at all. Because what do you do when you play a bad team? You smash them. Right? And that's what they did against the Giants, and that's what they did against the Bengals. So that's what good teams do. But I didn't go into this game thinking that, well, because the Bengals beat the Panthers, and they beat the Browns, and they beat the Giants, and oh, by the way, lost to the Patriots, that somehow because Joe Burrow is the quarterback that they're a good team. I took them for who they were. They've got a great quarterback, but a trash team. So within reason, you're right. They lost because the Eagles are the better football team, and the Eagles did what they're supposed to do. But I'm not going to then just this is where I kind of bring in that little levity and like, oh, well, hold on. It's a good win. We're trending in the right direction. I like what I'm seeing, but I'm not going to excuse the idea that, hey, we just went in and we beat a Bengals team that's literally contending in the AFC, because they're not. They're just another bad team that happens to be on the schedule.
I think they're one of the most underperforming.
Correct.
If there was, you block off the teams in the thirds and they're in the lower third, they're the best team in the lower third. They're way underperforming.
They do it every year, though. They start out slow and then they get my point of saying that is more so for the national media of the benefit of the doubt. Because if they would have came out and beat us, it would have been a parade of how great they are, how great Joe Burrow is, and how unbelievable he is in big game. All the things that they say. They're even trying to do it in a loss. Well, what do you expect him to do? How can he win? Like, I don't know, when Jalen Hurts had both his wide receivers out, nobody cared. No one cared.
Nope.
He's missing 2 linemen. No one cared. Correct. It was rise above. So if that clip is why I'm making it so demonstrative. I understand what you're saying, but it's like, we are not getting that benefit of the doubt. Jalen Hurts doesn't get that. And I got to the point where I told you guys, I said, look, I can't defend him right now. I had to stop defending him. I'm not going to give up on him. Shout out to Seth Joyner. Because I heard him today, and he's like, these young quarterbacks, got to give him a chance. Jalen's going to come back and be in front. Dude, you're tweeting. He had one bad pass in the flat. You're like, I'm out on this guy. I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, you're Seth Joyner. You're somebody who I believe in because you're a hard-nosed dude. But you are out there tweeting like a 15-year-old. Like, you're out on him completely for one bad pass. Newsflash, buddies. Nobody's passing for 100% completion rate every single week or half a season. I don't know if you watch football, but Patrick Mahomes, your beloved Patrick Mahomes, is leading the league in interceptions. Jalen Hurts is going to throw another pick again. I could care less about him throwing picks. I'm more upset when he fumbles the ball. So
that's funny you say that too, because to a man, like I feel like every one of us had that moment. And not necessarily with Jalen specifically, even though in the first half, we may have had that feeling or about that tweet that you want to send out or that you, oh my God, I got it, but you don't, delete. Like, let's get rid of that one, keep that in the drafts. And now we're like, thank goodness, because it's a 37-17 win. And how dumb would you look if you were spouting off the mouth in the first half? So I think you're right, it's like a 15-year-old that doesn't have the willpower to send it to the drafts. I do want to give, props to Jalen Hurts. We always talk about who's the elite quarterbacks in the NFL, right? And why Jalen Hurts is not part of that club. For one reason or another, whether it's national pundits or even here locally in Philadelphia, you won't put him in that upper echelon of quarterbacks. And that's fine, depending on what your metric is. But when we do look at who those quarterbacks are, right, like legitimately, who are the guys that we're going to say, hey, these guys are different. They're the best of the best. You talk about Patrick Mahomes. You talk about Josh Allen. I'm going to put Lamar in bubble wrap right over here for a second for the sake of this conversation, right? But we'll bring him back in a second. So let's take him out of it. Who are some other quarterbacks that we're going to say look, this year, Jared Goff. You can say, you could put Brock Purdy in there if you really want to, but you could go down. Look, Kirk Cousins is playing good football, right? Anyway, my point is you could go down the line. Oh, they love the Prince, Trevor Lawrence, right? You can go down the line of who we say the upper echelon quarterbacks are in the NFL. And I know I'm leaving names off. You could probably call them out to me right now. The bottom line is Jalen Hurts has beat them all. Head to head, when it matters, Jalen Hurts has beat them all. Now, bring Lamar Jackson back into the conversation. They play Baltimore. We'll figure out what that game is. That's going to be an opportunity for him to add that name to the list. But when we talk about who's the elite, and depending on your metric, Jalen Hurts wins football games.
Yeah.
No matter how we want to critique him, even when he turns the foot, he's 21-16 when he throws an interception. He's 20-6 when he doesn't. Obviously, a better record. But even when he turns the ball over and we bitch at him and we say it's the quickest way to a Samuel L. Opposite of a George Dub. You like that?
I like that.
Thank you. So you get the George Dub, I'll take Samuel L.
Sure.
Can you do that? Cool,
Knock
thank you.
yourself out.
So even when he does that and we bitch at him about it, the dude finds way to win to win football games. And isn't that what it's all about? Yeah. Winning in the NFL?
It is about winning. And you know what, guys? I want to make you winner. So we're going to pay some bills right now. And
can't wait. I can't wait to pay my bills. Let's go.
It is never ordinary at Bet365. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide. Bet365 live streams 780,000 events each year. Early payout offers across NBA, NFL, NHL, MLB. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting. And today, Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. There is an offer right now. You heard me talking about it, and I'm glad you didn't necessarily take the parlays that I gave you last week because I thought Dallas would play better coming off of a bye, and I wasn't I didn't quite understand the Chicago line, but I think Washington would have.
Did they win that one?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure I heard something about a Hail Mary.
Turn it off in 2 seconds, so I wouldn't know.
Today, Bet365. I'm sorry, wrong read. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Use code PHLY365. That's PHLY365 to sign up. Deposit $10 and place one bet for $5. So you deposit 10, place one bet for $5, and you get $200 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. So once again, check out Bet365 and go ahead and get yourself $200 in bonus bets by using the code PHLY365. Must be in Pennsylvania. Please bet responsibly. And if you or a loved one are having trouble with a gambling addiction, please reach out to 1-800-GAMBLER.
So, first of all, let's get this cracking.
That's a victory, right? That's a celebration.
I mean, it's just the best sound. It's the best sound in podcast. So you know what I love about the show?
What do you love about the show?
I love that we can get some legit entertainment, some laughter, some fun, right? Some good times.
Some free beer.
Some free beer. And I love that we can also pull it in, some levity, some logic. And if we really want to, we can get in the weeds, we can get in the mud, we can get some football talk. And it's almost like, to me anyway, the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And that really reminds me of my favorite Pilsner, Miller Lite. Because you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and it's less filling. And as they say, that sounds like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/PHLY-Birds, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. That's how you get to it.
Yeah.
Get in, get out.
I love it.
See that?
I love it. Black Gritty, before we took a break to just pay some bills right there, you had mentioned the schedule and getting hot at the right time. And on my drive down here, as I was doing 80 to 90 down 95, trying to get here.
He means 65 to 70.
65 to 70. Please drive responsibly, kids. You're never in a rush. But the word week 9 passed through my ears. Week 9. And maybe this isn't landing home for you guys, but we are about to cross the threshold into the halfway point, beyond the halfway point of the season. And to me, like, the Eagles are getting hot at the exact right time. They have the Jaguars coming up next week. Then it's at the Cowboys. Then it's home against the Commanders. Man, two giant NFC East back-to-back opponents. Two games which easily, right then and there, could help to decide not only the division, right? It's a little early, but decide the division. But you want to talk about playoff seeding, especially with Washington and the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, they're struggling right now, but I'm not going to put it past them not to be. You know how the NFC East games go. They're tricky.
Throw the
games
records
to play.
out.
At the Rams, at the Ravens, 2 tough ones back to back. Panthers at home, Steelers at home, at Commanders, Cowboys at home, Giants at home. So when you talk about, like, first of all, it kind of struck me. I don't know if this season, the way it started, it's kind of like aged me a little bit, or it felt like such a drag, or it was just dragging on because every week was a different. The building's on fire. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. That I am like mentally exhausted from the season. But we're passing into the halfway point. And something that always stuck with me, I think Buddy Ryan said it, you set up November and December to go ahead and set yourself up for the playoffs. And I think right now with the way the Eagles are playing, if they can continue that momentum, this is a playoff team. Make no bones about it.
No, it's absolutely a playoff team. I think I was originally, I think I was going to disagree with you in terms of getting hot at the right time. Because I always want to, and you already alluded to it, right? Like, I want to get hot in November. I want to get hot. Well, Jesus, it's almost November.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. Well, hold on. But I want to get hot heading into the postseason, right?
Right.
Because, I mean, we saw it with the Phillies. You see it with every team. It doesn't matter how you play in the regular season. Are you getting hot at the right time? Are you getting hot when you're in the postseason? That's where you're going to win your chips. But as you broke down the schedule and you start to look at that schedule, well, hold on. Now's a pretty damn good time to get hot.
You have to.
You have one more warm-up game, and yeah, I'm going to call it a warm-up game against the Jags, especially with the way that they're playing, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But yeah, you got the Cowboys, and as bad as the Cowboys are, that's still going to be a test for you. You go on the road, you play the Rams, and the Rams, yeah, that's a good football team. You've got the Ravens. Like, there are tough games, and you got the Commanders twice. The blessing is you're going to get 4 of your last 5 at home, so you don't have to travel, and that's going to be, tip your cap to them. But right now, this stretch after the Jags, you're really going to get tested. We're really going to find out who the Eagles are. So to your point, yeah, I originally I wanted to kick back a little bit and say, nah, I'd rather have them playing their best ball a month from now. I'm not so sure I agree. I think we need, not that I want them playing their best ball now, but you need to really start turning that corner, really start ramping it up, and show me that you've got another gear.
They need to start playing their best ball when they open the season. I understand that premise, but when I'm looking at, let's say, the Commanders, for instance, they have a quarterback who's Rookie of the Year and MVP of the league to start the year off. Now, he's dinged up a little bit, but when you come out and you set a tone, they've set a tone. They've got 2 losses too. It's like they're undefeated the way people perceive them. I've had this season. The reason you feel this way is because we haven't had any joy. The whole a win is a win thing carrying over from last year after watching it collapse brought no joy. I sat next to you at the Giants game, and you can attest to this. I was not happy.
No.
I wasn't cheering. I cheered. I did my thing.
Yeah.
I was positive, but you could tell I was not in the mood for, like, okay, you took the trash out, son. Thank you for doing what you're supposed to do. You haven't taken it out for almost a year, but you take it out today, and I'm just supposed to be like, oh my God, Jimmy, thanks for doing it. No, bro, do it again next week. And they did. And now that they're doing it, now I can feel happy. Sunday was the first time this season I've been happy with the team because of the things we talked about with the Bengals and the way that we are perceived and looked at. I know we're good. You went out there and got Saquon Barkley, and he's having a phenomenal season, and no one cares. Now everybody's like, oh, Jalen Hurts is never going to win an MVP. If we go undefeated the rest of the season, he's not getting an MVP. Well, he's got Saquon Barkley. What do you expect? A.J. Brown's the second best wide receiver in the league. I mean, who couldn't do it? But they all need each other, so he's never going to get the credit. So go out there and do your job. I need you hot all the time because that's what I expect from you and the team that he put out there. The defense showing up and growing before our eyes, I'll give credit to somebody I've complained about. That's Vic Fangio saying, all right, sorry, Davis. I know how he's saying I got to play you because you're a Georgia dog and you're a top pick. You're getting 12 plays a game and you're out. Old dog BG's doing his job. Maddox, you get injured every 3 seconds anyway. Have a seat. Oh, Cooper. What? Cooper? Okay. This is what happens when I have a nickel guy that actually can track and tack. Like, okay. Quinyon the Don is the best cornerback in the league. It used to be Sauce Gardner. They used to put sauce on everything. The Don is in the building. You got the tracksuit on like Big Dom. It is now Quinyon the Don. He is a made man week to week. You talk about the stats. He's got dudes with 12, 10, 8, 7. Whoever is on him, you might get a catch, but that's about it. That dude's a dog. So, shout out to Fangio, figuring out, finally getting the guys to know what they're doing, putting them in the right positions. And the team looks really good on defense.
And that's how it should be. And I know you said they should be playing their best ball in the beginning of the season, but the reality is with
the offense.
Maybe, right? And I can understand why you would say that, but maybe. Because there's still a host of changes that happen on both sides of the ball, whether it be personnel, whether it be an OC, whether it be a DC, whatever you're introducing, a new running back and you want to figure it out. On the Fangio side, yeah, you have young players, right? And Q and Coop missed a lot of time in the preseason. You've got young players trying to figure out a system, but you also have Fangio trying to figure out his players. What can I trust him with? What positions can I put them in? He had Coop on Jamar Chase on 4th down, man coverage. Coop read it. Coop made the play. If that was a couple weeks ago, I'm not so sure that Fangio would have trusted Coop to track Jamar Chase, the top receiver in the NFL, across the field and make a tackle on 4th down. So it's a bit about Fangio learning his personnel as well. Offensive side of the ball, I mean, damn, guys, they're running the ball. They're running the ball. They're getting under center. You said it earlier. They were under center 21 times, and even under center 21 times, 19 of that was a run. Why? Dude, they introduced a fullback.
Oh, my
Saquon
God.
had a fullback in front of him, Van Summerin. The dude just wants to put a helmet on and go put his hat on somebody. Line him up in front of Saquon, and look what happens. Saquon, look, check this out. Again, I'll be a nerd for you. So 22 carries for 108 yards, Saquon had, right? He had 10 carries where Jalen was under center. He had 12 carries in either the shotgun or the pistol formation. 12 carries for 29 yards when in the shotgun formation. 10 carries, 79 yards. So it works. Get your ass under center. I was getting frustrated in the second half because they started getting back in that pistol and that shotgun after he just ripped off 8 yards from under center. My point, though, is it takes time. They got to figure it out. If you want to give kudos to Fangio, if you want to give kudos to, who else do you give kudos to? Oh, Quinyon and Coop, and we're just flouting. Oh, they used to put sauce on everything. You better put some seasoning on some of that because there's a man in charge that made a couple of decisions you've been banging on, and I ain't talking.
I was waiting for it.
Thank you, because you do need to give a little props to Howie because he's giving you the personnel and made the decision that you were looking for, but more importantly, I want to hear you give a little love to Nick Sirianni, who's responded to a ton of criticism to have his team playing. So at least give him his daps.
I'm so glad you made your soliloquy because you proved my point even further. When I say I expect him to come out and you gave all the things you just said, I'm not going to regurgitate them, but go out there and look at the Washington Commanders. Yeah. New quarterback, new head coach, new coordinator, new owner, new everything. And they came out on fire. I watched the Texans come out there. New coach, new defense coordinator, new offense coordinator, new running back, new wide receivers, and they came out on fire. Because of head coaching, because of the system
and the
in place. And I saw Nick Sirianni, Brittany have to shave his head and have a meltdown and then go do what every fan on the couch, the quickest way to be a fan is to look to the fans because they're doing what they asked you to do. So give him credit for doing what we've been telling him to do and do it out the chute. I don't think so. You can do it. And Howie, I just told you.
I thought you were going Howie.
Fangio said, I can't
too.
even play with some of these guys. Howie, you got here. I got to go with these young dudes. Like, I know you want me to, Davis, I'm sorry, bro. I know that you're like a top 10 pick. You can't play. I'm sorry. You can't do it. Oh, Huff, you know what? We're going to have to rotate you out and get BG back in here because the old dog is flashing more than you are. So, yeah, Howie, thanks for picking Quinyon. I appreciate you. Thanks for the Dijon mustard. Love that sauce. It's amazing. And Saquon, you're paying a running back when nobody does that anymore. I appreciate you, Howie. Half and half, Howie. But Brittany, thanks for doing your job. Thanks for taking out the trash.
So, first of all, with Brittany, the team is playing for him. The team is playing for him. And if you're a bum, if you're like a stiff of a head coach, you don't have the winningest percentage in Eagles history, and you're certainly not on pace to track 40 wins, the fastest in Eagles history. But I get it. He's a bum. In terms of,
I
you want to talk
bum.
about,
I just don't
that's
like
fine.
it.
Brittany, whatever.
Yeah.
In terms of,
James
okay,
said.
Jordan Davis, you need to sit down. Who's he being replaced with Ojomo, who's a 7th round pick? So my point is, I don't care if you get him in the 1st round, the 2nd round, the 3rd round, the 4th round. Can you build a team throughout the draft? How he can do that? You miss 50% of the 1st round picks. And I'm not calling Jordan Davis a bust. I'm not. He's a serviceable player. Maybe you shouldn't have picked him where they got him. Fine, fair enough. My point is, for as much as we bang on Sirianni and Brittany, as much as we bang on Howie, right? If we're going to give props today, when you're feeling good and you're bouncing on medicine balls or whatever the hell they are behind you,
that's what you're here for. That's what you're here for.
We.
No, you.
It's not you. It's not me. It's us.
You don't bang on Sirianni. You love Caesar. You put that shit on everything. I don't. So you're sitting there standing in your lane.
like a red hot.
You like Brittany. Right. I still don't like
No,
the dude.
I was saying he needed to be fired. I was one of those dudes.
Look, every time
I love Howie.
You
I do
listen,
love me some Howie.
You got to listen to yourself because you defended the dude when we were both sitting there like you can't yell at the fans. So when you pick a moment, you can't even get down with us when everybody's in agreement that he's doing something that's just insane. You look crazy. You're Brittany because you look crazy.
Yeah.
You look crazy. Like, I get it. And I know the team loves him. I'm happy the team loves him. Shout out to my cousin who was at some club and Dean was out there. Mid-Play Slay was there. And a couple other Eagles there. They went to a Halloween party together at some club. So they all seem to be gelling and getting along and team camaraderie. They love the flowers and all that shit. Great. Good for them. I don't like it what I hear from him, and I just can't change my mind on that. I'm just going to say what I said.
You can't separate. You just can't separate.
It's the heels dug in. And I certainly, the one thing, through all the ups and downs of Nick Sirianni and his tenure here, which, by the way, like, this is his 4th season. Mm-hmm. I looked up a picture of my man when he was hired. Doesn't he look like, since it's election season, doesn't he look like a president at the end of his term? Yeah. Like, I looked at a picture of Nick Sirianni when he was first hired. I'm like, look how thin, and his skin is glowing, and no gray hairs, and my man's just youthful. Yeah. Youthful. And then 4 years later, he's having his Brittany moment. And Nick, get some sleep, my guy. You look like shit, my dude. It's just being a president. It doesn't matter for what part. Being a president just ages you. And apparently being the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles ages you. And I did see, and I'm going to get to it in a minute, I did see Doug Peterson say something that he was interviewed by the Jaguars media, which I can't imagine is a large conglomerate down there. But he was saying that Nick Sirianni did bring up the fact that when Doug was let go unceremoniously and Nick was hired, that Doug did kind of show him the way and kind of splay out the landmines that are in front of him, whether it be the media or the fans and who to, did kind of hold his hand through the process, which I thought was great. Which transitions me into the next topic. And the next thing I want to throw out to you guys, because it's a little lighter, right? It's not necessarily Eagles talk, but it's a little lighter. Because I'm looking forward to this weekend because it is a nostalgic weekend. It is full of nostalgia. You see me in my big Dom tracksuit. You're wearing the Kelly green. We got to get you geared up.
Like
we got to get you to the
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Green.
I got Kelly Green. It's a little snug on me now. I got my
we got to get you to the Mitchell, and I'm going to take you over to see Josh and all those guys. The Mitchell in that store is great. It is definitely great at that. But we got 3 things going for us this weekend, and I want you to pick a memory out of one of them or multiple. I'm just going to lob it out there. Number 1, Kelly Green game. If you want to, give me a memory of. Hold on, there's 3 of them. Give me a memory of, being in Kelly Green, kind of growing up as an Eagles fan, because we're all around the same age, and I'm assuming a lot of our listening audience is around the same wheelhouse as well. Number 2, Shady McCoy is entering the Eagles Hall of Fame. One of the best running backs, leading rusher in franchise history, right? One of the best running backs. Now that we're talking about Saquon Barkley, we can make a lot of comparisons to LaShawn McCoy, who's in the media touting it up, saying Dak is ass, or give me a LaShawn McCoy memory, or Doug Peterson's back in town. We're full of nostalgia this week. We're full of nostalgia. Give me a Kelly Green story that's something that hits the top of your head. Give me a LaShawn McCoy story, or give me a Doug Peterson story that you like.
Since I'm faster than you
and don't give us any time to think about it. Just hit us on the spot.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, awesome.
I'm fast. You'll have time.
No, I got it. I'm good.
So as far as Kelly Green is concerned, I just remember the first time I actually understood what football was, and my dad's like, "Oh, come watch this game with me," and I'm like, "Okay," and he's like, watch the defense. And he sat down, he got a chair, and he got next to the TV, and he's doing the spot. He's like, look at Reggie White. Just watch this guy. And I was like, Dad, he looks like he's playing with children. He's like, yes, he is playing with children. He's like, this is the greatest defensive player I've ever seen in my life. He is 2 times stronger than every man out there on the field every single time. If you want to look at somebody, you want to admire somebody on the Eagles, watch this man work. And he sat there for a whole game and just kept pointing them out. And I don't even remember what game it was because I was just sitting there looking at my dad and I'm watching the plays. And I was like, dang, like this is, he knew that this guy, we were probably playing the Giants, somebody who was dominating. He just knew that he was going to dominate this game, and it was so fun to watch. And during Kelly Green, I just remember watching my dad just pointing at the TV for a whole freaking game for 3 hours, and it's amazing. Doug Peterson, I didn't like Doug Peterson, just like I don't like Nick Sirianni. And then I was like, Doug, you're kind of winning games. You're pulling me back. I'm like, I'm Doug neutral. I'm like, oh, I'm okay with Doug. And then Doug won a Super Bowl, and now I'm Doug positive. So I went from Doug negative to Doug neutral to Doug positive. If I ever see you in life and you want an ice cream sandwich, you want a steak, whatever you want, I got it. If I can't afford it, I will steal it. But you deserve it, and I thank you for giving me happiness. And Shady McCoy, we've had a lot of great running backs in this league. His attitude is right up my alley because he talks a lot of trash. He carries a lot of swag. And coming from West Cookie to him, I thought, like, I'm never going to have another great running back again. Like, I went from Thunder and Lightning to get Westbrook. It's like, there's no way in the world that somebody's going to capture my heart more than Westbrook. Just small but mighty, just doing his thing. And then Shady comes in, and I'm like, oh, God. The snow game is literally the best game by a running back outside of Walter Payton you've ever seen in your life. You can watch it every single day for the rest of your life and be happy.
So I'll start with Kelly Green. Awesome examples, by the way, because you were triggering more nostalgia in me. So the first couple that we're banting about was going to an Eagles game with my Uncle Tim and my pops. Eagles, Packers. Eagles came out with a dub, won a 6-pack of Coca-Cola because I was only a kid at the time. But I'm not gonna say that one. I'm thinking Randall Cunningham against the Giants. Was it Pepper Johnson? Who was it that tried to get him on the sideline? Was it Pepper Johnson, right? Yep. Like that's running through my head. But the reality, the one that's really burned is when they were on the road in Buffalo in their whites, and Randall dodges the sack in the end zone, throws it down to Fred Barnett, who scampers for like a 108-yard touchdown. For whatever reason, because I was actually in my dad's T-Bird, and we were driving at the time, listening to it on WIP, and Merrill Reese's voice is burned into my head, that call. And then, you rush home, you throw on Sports Center because now I want to see what it looks like. And now we've seen that play over and over again. And so, like, Merrill's call, and it burned into my head actually seeing it, but sitting in my pop's T-Bird, like that for me and the Kelly Greens kind of puts a bow on things from a nostalgia perspective. For Shady McCoy, Harrisburg kid, I followed him, in high school. He's actually supposed to go to Miami. Met him at LA Fitness, cool dude, but it's the snow game. It is like that is the game when you think of Shady McCoy. I don't know. There's other good games, but it's that game. For Doug Peterson, this was actually interesting because you say Doug Peterson, and I'm thinking, well, most people are going to say he's a coach. Well, like Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend, right? Because I remember Doug Peterson in '99. They drafted Donovan McNabb, and you got to kind of have that Chase Daniel type that, hey, all right, you're going to take some of the snaps to start the season. So when I think of Doug Peterson, I think of him in an Eagles uniform, looking at that picture of some dopey dude in a helmet saying, wait a minute, that's Doug Peterson? Yeah. That's the guy that got us the Super Bowl ring? Yeah. Damn right it is. So when I think of Doug Peterson, that's what I think of.
Yeah, I was just driving down here responsibly. 55 miles an hour in the right-hand lane.
Maybe 65.
Yeah,
maybe
10 and 2. No, I'm being lawful.
You know it's 9 and 3 now because of airbags. They don't say 10 and 2 anymore. You got to be 9 and 3. Yeah.
Okay.
The more you know.
Come on, Grandpa.
Well, half the time I'm 12 o'clock.
I'm right here. I'm this guy.
Gangster,
right underneath.
Oh
yeah, because I got my truck.
Okay. All right. I'll get to mine in a second.
Yeah.
I got to ask because am I weird because I put the foot up on I drive with my foot up.
Yes, you can break your pelvis, you dumbass.
Really?
Yes. Get your foot down.
So, this is comfortable.
No, until you hit something.
Like I drive like this.
Two things you will break. Like that's why when you don't have to see girls putting their foot out the window, you don't do that. You don't put your foot up on the dash. You don't do that. And secondly, you're displaying to the people how physically small you are because I couldn't dream of putting my foot up while I'm driving a vehicle. Are you out of your mind? Like driving, I can put my foot up. You could put me in a semi truck and I couldn't get my foot
When
up.
we get downstairs,
while
I'm gonna
I'm
show.
driving.
I won't buy a car if there's like knobs or shit on the left. There needs to be an air vent and an air vent only, so I can put
You
my foot
have
up there.
children. You need to be more responsible for your family. Nobody wants to be wheeling you around with your bum hip, EROCK.
I don't know how he gets his leg up.
Bro.
Straight up.
What?
You're not that flexible.
How? No,
It's not
bro,
about flexible.
I didn't say I wasn't flexible. I just said
He's
I
not.
just said
That was
He's
did you get that camera
here.
shot? Did you see that?
I can't get there.
That was for the YouTube. That deserves like a super chat or something.
That's a pause.
Timmy, that was
Hey,
was,
Rashad Drake, you know about it.
I saw more of Jason Ashworth today than I intended
That brings
to.
me back
I
to my
apologize.
20s.
I'm going to circle around to
That
the
brings me
top.
back to my 20s. Hey, your three memories, your three nostalgic memories.
Three
What do you got?
nostalgic memories. So my earliest memory of football, as far as I understand it, like, you know, mom had me I got pictures, I'll post it later, pictures in the baby onesie, Philadelphia Eagles, you know, the old like velour, like,
Yep.
Did your parents or grandparents have like the couch coverings, like
Oh,
the
God,
plastic
yeah.
covering that used to stick to?
House
it? You
smells
sweat?
like mothballs.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. I got one of those pictures, but you were talking about like when you're actually able to form memories, right? Football memories.
One thing real quick.
Yeah.
I have a picture that can never see the light of day. I had an uncle. He brought me a Christmas present, and it was a Commander's outfit, which wasn't Commander's at the time. Maroon shorts, the shirt.
Velour.
Yeah, bro.
Ooh.
And shoes. I had to put it on because my grandmother made me put it on for Christmas. I put it on. I took it off. I never wore it again. But there is one picture of me sitting there super duper sad having to wear.
That's like a Christmas story.
Oh, bro.
Like when he wears the pink bunny
I
outfit.
have to see it.
It was a bad day. I'm never going to show. I had an afro. My fro was on. Bro, I was so angry. And my grandmother was like whipping me, telling me I had to put this outfit on. So sorry about that.
No,
You
no
triggered
problem.
me.
Well, that's the thing. When I'm driving down here, looking at like all the nostalgia, I'm just getting triggered. Just constant radio off, driving responsibly, and with my foot up on the dash, and just triggering all these memories. So my earliest memory of like being an Eagles fan and actually like recognizing what's going on. The 4th and 1 game. I was at that game, and I remember it. You know, Dallas Cowboys, the whole thing. You've heard the Merrill car. They play it on every single retro. They stop them again. But I remember, you know, when you're a kid and you're like, you understand what's going on, but you don't understand what's going on. So it happened, and the stadium shook. Like the Veterans Stadium was vibrating.
Yeah.
Crowd was going nuts. And then just a rain of boos coming down as they realized they had to do it again, right? I think it was because it was a 2-minute warning or somebody called a timeout. It was some fugazi reason why they had to do it again. And they decided in the absolute arrogance of the whole thing, yeah, we're just going to run the same play. We're just going to run the same exact play against that Eagles front, Seth Joyner, the whole
Who
lot
got
of
the
them.
stop? I think I know who it is.
Who?
Was it Romanowski?
No, I think this was before Romanowski. I think this was before Romanowski's time. When you guys are doing the next set of reads,
Why do I feel it? I'm gonna look it up right now.
I'm gonna look it up.
Please stop him again.
So that was like when it hit, right, the vein, because I didn't understand exactly what was happening at that moment, but that's when the switch in my head flipped, because I was like, I don't know what's happening right now, but I want to be in this environment, in this crowd, feeling this feeling all the time. That was kind of like the birth of EROCK, right?
Yeah.
You know, because it was that energy. All of a sudden, something clicked, something transformed in me, and I've been locked in and die hard ever since. Doug Peterson, you kind of stole my one with Doug Peterson, because when he was hired as Eagles head coach, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I remember Doug Peterson as the stopgap, the temporary stopgap in Andy's first year when they drafted Donovan McNabb, and that guy was terrible. He was terrible. And I'm like, this is the dude who you hired as head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles post Chip Kelly. Like, Chip Kelly was bad, and I wanted him out of here, but then you hired... Do you remember him as a quarterback, and turned out to be one of the best coaching hires, the best coaching hire this organization has ever made? But for those that are young enough to remember Doug hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, just remember there's some old heads in the building that remember him under center, and it was not pretty. Shady McCoy, just one of the, and I'm going to be fortunate enough to be at the link on Friday. They're having like a Hall of Fame luncheon. Shout out to Philly Sports Trips for that one. But I can't wait to hear the guy talk and kind of reflect on his career. But he always played with an attitude. He never dogged it. He would continue to talk shit from the start of the whistle to the end of the whistle. And he was just one of those all-around backs that could break it open at any time, especially in the passing game. The dude had, like you mentioned, going from Westbrook to LaShawn. Like
you didn't think you were going to get that.
That was like going from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Like that's how good those running backs were, to have two of them, and all-purpose backs. Kind of, but could pick up the blitz, right? Could pass block.
They could do it all.
They could do it absolutely all. So I'm very much looking forward to Sunday and really getting all those nostalgic feelings. And if you have any of your own, please put them in the group chat. Message us. We love hearing about the nostalgia.
So two things, Julie. Do we have a new ad read this week? Check on that. You want to hear my vet story?
Yeah, go for it.
So. The same uncle that was a Redskins fan. My father's in the Air Force, and we didn't have a lot of money, so we didn't go to games a lot. So he was like, look, he wants to go to a game, take him to a game. So my dad bought 2 tickets. Mm-hmm. We go out early, crack of dawn in the morning. I'm like, why are we going so early? We're tailgating. And dude, it was so fun. I just remember smelling food and people drinking and people playing music, and it was great. And then when the time came to go to the game, my uncle passed out in the back of someone's car. And I sat in that car and listened to the game on the radio until he woke up in the 3rd quarter.
Oh, boy.
And then we couldn't get inside because they won't let you in. And so we missed the 4th quarter walking back to the car. And when I tell you, I've never seen a grown man beg more that he begged me not to tell my father that we did not go to that game. Saving grace, there's no camera phones back then. So it's like, I didn't take pictures. Like, my dad's not asking for evidence. You know what I mean? Like, what was going on? And it might have been like a year before I told my dad, because he said something. He's like, yeah, my son got to go to the game. I haven't been to a game in like 8 years. And I'm just sitting there like, I've never been to a game. And we moved to Florida.
Oh no!
And the vet was no more by the time I got back from Florida.
I got another. Before we get to the ad reads, and I'm going to send this to my mother because this is a story we sometimes tell, and it's the God's honest truth, and it kind of speaks to how we are as an Eagles family. So we're outside of Veterans Stadium. At that point, my grandfather, who was the original Eagles fan, what's bone marrow cancer? Is that multiple myeloma? He had bone marrow cancer. He was on the clock. My man was. I had to help him like up the ramp because if you remember, Veterans Stadium, the ramps, because the escalators never worked.
Yeah.
By the way, for everybody who remembers Veterans Stadium fondly, I realize absence makes the heart grow fonder. That place was a shithole. It was a terrible stadium. It was a terrible stadium. For those that are like, I wish I would got to see a game at the Vet. Nah, not really, because half the time, first of all, the stadium sucked. And second of all, half the game, you're looking behind you because the 700 level, you mentioned camera phones. Thank God there were no camera phones back then. 700 level would just been canceled. They just would have stopped selling tickets up there. It would have been completely canceled. But my grandfather was sick of cancer. And, it was I think it was the last year of the Vet because I remember we were going to the Link the next year. And it was winter time. And my man will bundle up, and when you're sick, cancer, all that stuff, you get tired easily, right? So we would get out there at the butt crack of dawn, but Grandpa couldn't hang like he used to. So my man used to take naps in the front seat of the minivan. We had a minivan back then, and the tailgate's kind of winding down, and we're packing stuff up, food up, tables up, and everything. And all of a sudden, somebody looks at Grandpa in the front seat, who's got blankets over him, and we can't tell if he's breathing.
Oh boy.
Like, we legit can't see a chest movement. We can't see it's cold. We can't see steam. And we don't want to wake him. But we're also, my mother, my uncle, and I are staring in the passenger seat looking at him going, holy shit, did he die? Like, legit. Like, we're concerned that he died. And then my mother out of nowhere went, well, if he's dead, I mean, it is cold enough out. He's not going anywhere. Like, we can wait, right? We can still go into the... My mother is saying that we can still go in the game, right? We'll just call the police after. We were legit going to leave my dead... Who would have understood, by the way? Yeah. Who would have said, like, what? Don't worry about me. Just go watch it. That's a true story. True-ass story.
And
he was alive.
Bless her.
He was alive.
And I know he wouldn't have cared? Because I've got a similar situation. I was dogging it with you. I was like, leave man down.
Man down.
Go ahead.
Go
Yeah,
the Giants game.
He wasn't dead, though.
He wasn't dead.
Okay,
No, he didn't die. He
We
didn't
got
die.
cliffhanger out
He
here.
didn't die.
wasn't
But there
dead.
was a serious discussion, like, if this man is dead, do we just leave him here?
So let's take more stories to come.
More stories to
conversation to
come.
come.
Isn't this so
We got
great?
Pay some bills.
Isn't this so great? The nostalgia is just
I
so
love
great.
it. Yeah, well, you set it off with the suede. You got that velour Kelly Greens. But
Is it time to pay some bills?
Gritty, let's pay some bills, brother.
Knock yourself out.
Oh, you want me to start?
Yeah, because I got a new thing to do. Because
You need time to think.
No,
I got you. No. You told me
already
earlier I needed time to think. I'm going to give you some time to think.
There you go.
All right. Look, here's the deal. We do it every week, right? We're going to do it again. Whether you're looking for just some good polarized lenses, whether you're looking for glasses that'll protect you against blue light, whether you're looking for some green wolves to get out on the course to help you see things a little clearly. I can't tell you guys enough. Get your butts to Shady Rays. They have hundreds of models, hundreds of options. Whether you have a small face, a fat face, a peanut head, the big dome, either way, they've got options for you. And every one of them is fly as always, right? E, can you put your, what are you doing?
Yeah, I got
This is what we
I got
do
you
during the
covered.
Shady
I got you
Rays. You're not
covered.
putting your glasses on, right?
was
Look,
getting
big
lost in
dome,
nostalgia.
peanut head. Big dome, peanut head, right? They've been rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Right now is your opportunity. Go to ShadyRays.com because right now Shady Rays is running their best offer of the year, and it's exclusive to our listeners. ShadyRays.com. Use the code PHLYBirds, and you can get 35% off a pair for yourself. They've got the best protection program in the biz. We've already talked about that. You don't like them, 30 days, send them back. You break them, you lose them. They'll take care of you. Trust your boy. Trust the fit. Trust the look. Head to ShadyRays.com.
So before I get started, I didn't need more time, but shout out to our producer.
You
She's
needed
playing
more time.
injured.
It's okay. I got
She's
you, bro.
playing injured. I was sleeping. She did not acknowledge the fact that we had a new sponsor, but
Assed out,
good
too.
for me. Good for me that I was paying attention. And I read the things that need to be read. And I read something that you should be involved in. And if you watch this channel, because other people talk about it too. TrueMark Financial. So I'll be honest with you. There's a whole bunch of stuff I can read to you. I could read it. But I'm a credit union guy. Had a credit union since I was 15 years old. If you have a regular bank account and you're not involved in a credit union, you're stupid. I just make it really simple. You should have multiple bank accounts, but you should have a credit union. Credit unions work for you. They don't work for shareholders. They're not out there trying to get their top dollar. This is a company that is for and by the people. So if you can get into a credit union, you should do it. Just to read, make sure if you're in Bucks County, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, or Philadelphia County, you're eligible. Get in there. Meet those people that actually care about you and want to help you out, help you with their finances, your loans, their equal opportunity lenders. But they are people that actually care about what you're doing on an individual level. They're not some multi-state conglomerate. They're usually local to your area. So sign up and go find out the difference. Once you talk to somebody, you're going to realize that you need to be at TrueMark Financial. And it's not just an ad. They're a credit union. I believe in credit unions. I know they're doing the right thing. I saw the cuz down there. He gave him all his money. So if the cuz can do it, you could do it too. TrueMark Financial is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal opportunity. I said that equal opportunity lender. For more information, go to truemark.com/PHLY. Like I said, if you're not involved in a credit union, you're stupid. Help yourself.
So
go sign up.
Are you involved in a credit union?
Apparently, I'm stupid.
I'm stupid.
Well,
I didn't know this. We're going to have to talk. Off air, we're going to talk.
Yeah. You got to walk me through it.
Teach me the ways,
The
young Jedi.
fees are just whoo. The interest rates are whoo. The CDs are whoo. Like, I'm just telling you, they help you.
What, like,
Whoo is
what
better.
No, I know that, but like, what are we talking about?
Okay, so
Off air, we talking about this?
Say,
Like, what?
Let's say your regular bank's out here giving you a 0.4% on there.
Well,
yeah,
that's
they're out here
garbage.
giving
That's
you.
garbage.
Yeah, they're out here giving you the
Can I get 5.5?
3.5.
Can I get 5.5?
Depends on the credit.
Let me get a
union.
little CD for 5.5 for a little bit.
Oh, the CD, you definitely get a 5.5. Right now, you might even get a 6.5. You in election year. You in election year. They want you to get that money in there. That's what I'm saying. Go
Birds
check
are-
it out. Go find out. Go get
right,
go
Quick young
TrueMark.
Mitchell.
Woo!
Cooper DeJean.
Now we're gonna be whooing in our sleep, wondering why.
I like it.
Yeah. So the thing you said about when you tell stories is that's the one thing about fandom that's just great.
Yes.
People are crazy. They're outlandish. Like there's been many a mother that said, "That'll be fine. It's cold enough." Like that's a legit thing because you're thinking to yourself, this person would want me to carry on. And
Yes.
they would. And they really would. And that's when you sit there and you say like, oh, I'm yelling about Brittany or Howie and all this kind of stuff. Yes, because we pick a side, we pick a lane, but it's still our family. I hate some people in my family, but I love them because they family. And you bicker and you fight, but when it comes down to it, if anybody else comes to that house on Thanksgiving, it's us against them, and that's the best thing about sports, especially Philadelphia sports.
And I love that you said that. I love that
good.
you said that because this Thanksgiving, anybody comes in your house and tries to talk trash on Howie or Nick, you got their back, right?
Yeah,
right.
Howie season, I put that shit on everything.
My man.
But that is what makes it the greatest fan base. And like, I'm sorry, I'll die on that hill. Greatest fan base in sports. Every year they hold up the Stanley Cup, and it doesn't matter if it's St. Louis. This is for the greatest fan. No, it's not. You're in a minor. Shut up. Tampa Bay. The NBA doesn't say this is for the greatest fan. MLB. This is for the great. When it comes to Philadelphia, it is literally a city of people that will eat your face off of your face if you knock their guy or knock their take or disagree with them. We do it sometimes here on the show, but the minute you don't like Sirianni, the minute some Cowboys fan goes and talks shit on Nick Sirianni, you're ready to fist fight him. That's the thing. It's like the brother thing. Like, I'm allowed to beat up on my own. I'm allowed to talk shit on my own. I'm allowed to be hard on my own. But the minute that somebody outside of the circle, outside of the family's got anything to say, we're all banding together and we're all whooping some ass. I love this fan base.
On site.
On site.
Right.
Without question.
Right.
Throwing hands. Hard. Haymakers. Landing bombs. That's just what we do.
Maybe in my 20s. I got to work on Monday.
I still got a couple good more in it. I still got a couple more in me. Still got a couple. I can
you
still
better not. You better not.
I can still put the foot up on the dash. I still got a couple more left in me.
All right, fair enough.
Somebody had a memory. Somebody was going to say something about a memory.
I think it was you.
No.
Because
I ended up
more bills.
I ended with the dead guy.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, did you? The not dead guy.
The not
we thought
dead
was
guy.
dead guy.
Yeah.
We had the game to catch. If he's dead, he's dead.
So we're gonna circle back and just talk about the Jags real quick before we get out of here. But speaking of
put us back on track.
Yeah. Speaking about just kicking our own in the back, I tell you, the Sixers are making it really hard for me to be the Philadelphia fighter that I am in the retrospect of what we just said. They're not getting any more money from me. My daughter wants a Maxey jersey, and that might be the only thing I allow to have money spent because Maxey is in a position where this kid can do no wrong. He is the light and the joy of the Sixers. He could go out there and go 0 for 88 the next 82 games. I can't say anything bad about the guy because when he's hurt, he's actually hurt. When he's out there playing, he's got a smile on his face. He's out there with the backups, fighting tooth and nail. My head coach is now just enraged with the Joel Embiid debacle and something that, like, it's not really your sport to know, but, like, bro, it's been an embarrassment. I went from the Kalanja clowns and burner tweet accounts, and the wife was tweeting, no, he was tweeting, and then I get Brett Clown, and then the league steps in and tells you that you can't tank anymore, but we're still tanking and trust the process, and then I get Elton Brand in here, and I'm like, oh, we got some. Well, what does he do? Oh, he doesn't do anything. I got the Weezer up in here, Daryl Morey, and I'm a fat person, bro. I got a condition. I don't wheeze like that man wheezes sitting down. I'm just saying, it's a weird situation I'm in, and everything is just crumbling in front of my face. They've been fined $100,000 for fibbing about Joel's injuries, and I'm like, you didn't get the surgery you were supposed to get because you selfishly wanted to play in the Olympics, and then they give you an extension, and you're probably going to play 30 games this year. I'm sad right now for the Sixers and the fans of Philadelphia because we do care so much. We do sell out home games. We do show up, and to be treated this way for almost a decade, being lied to over and over and over again, they're pushing to the brink the love and the dedication of what you just spoke of, or how we have for all of our teams. We lose. The Phillies lost. We get it, and we're mad in the moment, but hey, our owner's trying. He said he's going to go out there and spend crazy money. He's trying. He's making an effort. He went and got a better general manager. He's trying. The Sixers just feel like 1,000 cuts of stupidity year after year after year, and they're right at the brink of me just.
Before you go on that,
Yeah.
Josh Harris in a couple weeks on Thursday Night Football when he comes in with the Commanders that he owns now, you could voice that all to him. I'm sure he'll listen to you then.
We'll give you a soliloquy.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So, I mean, you're right. I mean, the only guy I love Tyrese Maxey. I got an animal in my house named Maxey after Tyrese Maxey. So he can do no wrong with me. It's like we said last week. It's just unfortunate. The optics of it are just horrible. I don't know that I think that the Sixers aren't trying to win. I think they made, from a vet perspective, from a depth perspective, from a guard perspective, I think they did themselves some favors in terms of just building an overall roster. They went out and they got Paul George. They invested. They wanted to keep the big man locked up. They gave him the contract. But the optics of it, it's manufactured chaos for no reason. Now, much like we bitched about how the Eagles started, if Joel comes back or even Paul George comes back and they can start to string some games together with or without the big man, and we start to look at him and say, okay, this is what we were waiting for, that'll subside. And we'll get over that rather quickly.
We
will.
won't, though.
Winning cures a lot.
He has to win in the postseason now.
There's
been too much of winning in the season. It doesn't even matter anymore.
I'm not
He
arguing
has 73
that
win
point.
games. I got people yelling at me. I'm like, he had 73 points yesterday. I don't care. And I'm like, oh, okay, well,
I'm
can't
not
talk
arguing
anymore.
that point. But if they're going to win in the postseason, you know as well as I do, big man's got to be healthy. I don't like it. I don't like the optics of it. None of this is fun for me. The first 4 games have been a watch. Matter of fact, what the hell are they even doing right now?
They're playing right now?
No, I know they are.
They're playing. It's Tobias night. Yay, Tobias.
And look, they're losing to Detroit. They're losing to Detroit at home, currently down 7. So it's that, I don't know what we expect down Paul George, down Joel Embiid. But, it's one of those, got to get through it. To me, I said it, I've been over the regular season for years. Now, obviously, I paid a little more attention now because I love the depth they brought in. I like the fact that they brought in Paul George. For me, this is a team that on paper can contend. But we're done with the regular season. I'm not watching all 82 like I used to. Just, all right, get me to May. Get me to early. Let me see what the hell we're doing late April into May. Get me to the postseason. But you're right, man. It sucks right now.
It's
not
sad.
fun.
It's just sad.
That place should be packed every single night with excitement, with energy, and it's just not.
I just didn't know. I didn't know, and I didn't understand to this very moment that to get you two on the same page,
Talk Sixers.
all we got to do is talk Sixers.
Yeah.
And then you stop arguing, and you're sad together.
That's
You're
a
sad together. You're
terrible
both in this-
podcast. That's a terrible podcast. It's me and him just all
That's
sad.
a great. It's sad
holding
together.
hands.
Just sad
Because
together.
any rational person would be sad about it. There's
Right.
not much to pump up.
Because I love the game of basketball.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the Sixers, and it sucks because I don't want to watch them. I'm like, I do what I just did right there.
Yeah.
I'll watch a little bit, and then whatever, get out of here. I'll pick up my phone. All right, whatever. Get me a team that can go out and run.
We're going to talk Jags and get out of here. But Nando Knight, Kelly Green, Randall Killen, the Raiders was my dad's memory of football, as my dad was an old school Raiders fan. I did like the Raiders back in the day too. Shady Snow Game and Doug is the exact same thing. Stop the gap. Super 5.
I love it. I love it.
Jags. Give me the Jags.
Before we get on out of here, give me a prediction on the Jags.
Oh, just like that.
The game. Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
I feel another 30 burger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. I think, unfortunately, this might piss us off a little bit, this game, right? The Jags' pass defense is trash. Stinks. They got a good run defense. They can run the ball a little bit. We'll see how they are on offense. They might be out Gabe Davis. They might be out Brian Thomas. They might be out Travis Etienne. They're all questionable. Christian Kirk's already done for the year. Offensively, I think they're going to be a little limited, which makes them one-dimensional. But I think this game's going to piss us off a little bit because with all the success we're talking about running the football, the Jags' pass defense is trash. And if they don't have any weapons on offense and all they can do is run the ball, you got to put up points.
Yep.
Put up points and they'll stop running the ball. So I think you'll see the Eagles come out throwing. And we're going to look at this and say, well, wait a minute. Wait. We just got done showing you the recipe. This is what you do. Run the ball. Get a fullback in there. I formation. Get under center. Run the damn ball. I think they're going to come out throwing because they know they can and try to catch a lead early. So I'll give you, let me say like a 33-18, 33-20 in that type of game. Birds win.
Got it. Gritty.
Don't listen to this man.
Don't ever listen to me.
Don't listen to me.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Do not throw the ball. Do not throw the ball.
I'm not saying they should.
Oh, I know. I know. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Don't listen to you because they listen to us.
All right.
No, don't come out.
Oh, right. They listen to us.
Yes,
right. Okay,
yes.
my fault. The seat's for you, Nick.
So,
in a couple weeks, the seat will be for you.
First of all, thank you, Doug Peterson, for giving me one of the greatest moments of my life outside of having a child and living to see another day, being a rational person. You don't need a tribute video. We're going to clap and stand up for you. So thank you, Doug, for coming back. You should get some ice cream on the house. Appreciate you.
Everybody gets some ice cream.
Yeah, everybody gets some ice cream. They're going to come out and finally get a score in the first quarter. You came out and said two touchdowns last week. That was preposterous. But they are going to score in the first quarter this week and start the ball rolling. If they run the ball and Jalen Hurts only has 25 passes and he's back at that 70 to 85% completion ratio, I think they're going to blow this team out if they score 10 points. It might. They're going to pull up because it's Doug and they're going to be nice. But I'm thinking 35-10 Eagles.
And let me just for context, if Thomas and Etienne and Gabe Davis are all out, obviously that score changes and we're probably, I mean, they're lucky to score 10. Right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming from now here on Wednesday, at least 2 of the 3 are going to play.
They're not going to play.
I don't.
And if they do play
for what?
And if they play, Trevor Lawrence is still the quarterback, and Doug does not like him. Doug doesn't like the quarterback. So I don't know if you heard the interview right after the game. The reporter asked Doug, "So you guys came back in this game. What did you see from Trevor Lawrence that showed promise from coming back?" Yeah, the backup wide receiver stepped up. He went down the list, named all 3 receivers and the tight end and the running back, and did not mention the quarterback's name in his praise. Oof. And I'm like, wow. It's shocking because the question was about the quarterback. Yeah. He went out of his way to say, well, such and such stepped up, and such and such made a big play, and the running back got into a groove.
Because he's not that good.
He's not.
When are we going to admit
that was like
he's not that
that
good.
was like the Jalen Hurts we have our moments comment.
Yes.
Yeah, where it was you knew exactly where he was going even though he didn't say
on steroids.
On steroids. I love it. I got 30-13. I think they boat race him early and then kind of, we see the Will ship. My man almost had a touchdown.
Oh, I know. Was it Gates?
Gates? I don't know who held, but man, he was so jazzed up. And I like that kid. In training camp, he took a moment to spend time with my son. You don't forget moments like that. When if you're overly nice to my kid and you go out of your way for my kid, you were like. So to see him in the end zone, the whole house jumped up and was cheering, and then to have it called back, I think we start to see him get some handoffs again in the fourth quarter. The one thing I want to see, because usually I give you 3 things I want to see the Eagles do in order to win the game. We all know the Jaguars are not in a good place right now. They've got whatever weapons they've got are going to be shelved. And this on paper, I'm not willing to say it because if anything taught me over the last 2 years, especially with Arizona last year, is you don't look past your competition. But I think we're all in agreement that they're going to win handily. All I want is a touchdown in the first quarter. Because to circle it back around to bullying and circle it back around to the crowd and to circle it back around to all of that, there is nobody that does a sarcastic cheer like the Philadelphia Eagles home crowd. And if they score, we're all waiting for it. And I'm almost glad they didn't do it last week because it would have been a wasted opportunity. At Lincoln Financial Field in front of the home crowd, in front of a bad Jaguars team, if they score in the first quarter, you are going to reach the high water mark, the pinnacle of sarcastic cheers. It is going to be 3 minutes straight of nothing. Clap. No, not even golf clap. The stadium is going to erupt, and they are going to do it in a form that lets you know, way overdue, guys. It's going to be the loudest eruption for 3 minutes straight that you've ever heard in your life.
They're definitely throwing the ball in the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a touchdown, they ain't running that thing in the end zone. Also, it ain't a tush push in the end zone. They are definitely passing for the first touchdown of the first quarter.
So
you watch.
Again, man, crazy.
You watch.
So just to put that on, I forgot. Last week, if it wasn't for penalties, that game would have been a perfect game. Jalen Hurts had that long run, call back for penalty. Shipley busted the line, call back on a penalty. And I'm like, the people that were tweeting about Jalen Hurts being bad, I'm like, are you not watching the game? 3 huge plays got called back because the offensive line was holding or offsides. Like, the man is having an epic game and you're already complaining. Because I know Joe Burrow came out slicing and dicing, but I'm like, just watch the game and enjoy it. Secondly, again, it's late in the cut. If you're still here, you're probably a diehard. Shout out to you. Make sure you go get one of the new shirts out there. We got a lot of Eagle shirts out there in the game. Thank you for being a diehard. It's on sale, 50% off. Go do that. Make yourself useful. But stop complaining on the internet about the Tush Push. Guess what? You're going to get this Tush Pushy, and you're going to like it. We're going to be pushing your Tushy in and out all day, every day. No,
we ain't doing nothing.
No,
we ain't doing nothing.
We might be the We are pushing that get Tushy every single day. And if you're one of the morons not taking Jalen Hurts anytime touchdowns, don't cry that Saquon's not getting it. I had 2 Jalen Hurts anytime touchdowns this weekend. Look at what's going on. Saquon Barkley, if he doesn't hit it on that 50-yard run, he's running down there saying, run it again, run it again. He could do the tush push. He also squats 600. He doesn't care. Howie Roseman gave him guaranteed money. This dude's not out there saying, well, I need to get 7 touchdowns so I can make sure that I get my bonus. Nah, bro, it's straight cash, homie. Let Jalen go out there and bang that thing in. So adjust your bets accordingly. And if they get there, oh, it's definitely going to be some tush pushy going down. Over and over and over again. You're going to get this tushy pushed.
Wow.
This has been a fun show. We got pushing over the tush over there. We got
you one of these.
It's a family show, gentlemen. It's a family show. We got Jason with his leg up in the air like a cat with tush and push.
Leg all up, you know what I mean? You driving in the car like you're doing something.
He's still at 10 and 2.
You see what happens,
9 and 3, bro.
9 and 3. What is going on in your car?
You see what happens when the Eagles win? When the Eagles win, this is the energy that we're keeping right now. We appreciate you tuning in. Please like, subscribe, follow all of our social media channels.
PHLYcheapseats.com.
If you what is it again?
PHLYcheapseats.com. Go subscribe. Do something. Make yourself useful.
For a third time, one more time.
PHLYcheapseats.com. Do it.
And if you see the videos and the clips on Instagram and on Twitter, I just got to give a shout out, my man Black Gritty, doing all of it. All the content you see on socials, this is the wizard behind all of it right here. So we appreciate when you like, subscribe, comment, follow along. We appreciate your support. And until next week, right here on PHLY at 7 o'clock, go Birds.
Push that tushy. Push it. Push that tushy. Push that.
We all silly like the mayor.